Hola, bom dia. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal live stream, YouTube channel and podcast. Great to be back here on this Monday morning. Hola, bom dia. Tudo bem? How are you doing? Have you had a nice weekend here in Portugal, or have you had a nice weekend somewhere else? Wishing you were in Portugal. Either way, you're most welcome this morning. All of you in the Good Morning Portugal community, and of course, our new friends, more and more of you coming over from expatsportugal.com. So let's start with a quick look at the weather. Great news this morning. You've had to get used to me rabbiting on for the last couple of weeks with barely a guest in sight. And this morning, we have Henry and Nina, who are on tour in Portugal at the moment. So we talked to them about their experience of arriving in Portugal as Brits, and they are having a look around this country. I think they quite like it so far. They're in the green room looking at... Are you liking it so far? Can I get a thumbs up from you if you're liking it so far? Three thumbs up, 2 people and 3 thumbs up. And if you've got any more, if they've got questions, I think, and observations. So let's do our best as the Good Morning Portugal and Expats Portugal communities to help them with any questions they've got. A few people saying hello already. Bon dia, my dear. That's very good, Sean. No one's ever said that to me before. I like that. And bon dia, my dear, to you as well. It sounds very Boise from Only Fools and Horses. But let's do the weather. Let's have a quick look at what's going on around the country. In Lisbon at the moment, 18 degrees and sunny, rising to a cloudy 27 degrees today. Porto currently 17 degrees and overcast. I'm feeling that here, actually. Here we are between Aveiro and Coimbra, just looking out the studio window across the valley. It's a little bit muted and muggy this morning, but it will rise to a cloudy 22 degrees in Porto. I don't think the weather has failed Henry and Nina since they've been here. Lovely warm weather. Coimbra currently overcast as well, just like Porto, at 18 degrees. 27 degrees to look forward to. Still a little bit cloudy as well. Down there in Faro, 22 degrees at the moment, rising to a very comfortable 29 degrees today. Let's have a look elsewhere, actually. If we have a look at Castelo Branco, for anyone in that part of the country today, 32 degrees to look forward to, currently 16 and sunny. And just one other place to have a quick look at, Santarém. We don't often talk about Santarém's weather, but it's 17 degrees and sunny there, rising to a cloudy 29 degrees. Quick look at some news, and we may return to the news after we've finished talking to Henry and Nina this morning. But just wanted to share this particular news story with you from, who was it who sent me this? It was Ray Edmonds via email. Thought I should take a look at this, thought I may have missed it. And he was absolutely right. I didn't see this. And it's, we're prompted from time to time, aren't we, to think about taking our comprehension and grasp of the Portuguese language a little bit further. And here is the government here encouraging us to do that very thing. Government encouraging foreigners to take Portuguese language course. Of the immigrants residing in Portugal who attend Portuguese courses for foreigners, 40%, a whopping 40%, have not completed the training, a rate that the government wants to reverse with the new Portuguese language of reception courses, PLA. A decree was published on the 5th of August in the Diário da República, regulating the creation and operation of new courses for which funding notices will be launched later this year. The Secretary of State for Integration and Migration, Cláudia Pereira, said to Lusa, the news agency, she added that it's also a priority of her office to reinforce the financing of these training courses in Portuguese for foreigners through the next community framework, still under evaluation, but through which they intend to dedicate a larger amount to PLA courses. Have any of you done these? And what did it cost you? And if you're one of the 40% that dropped out, why was that? The government's measures the government's measure comes to review the Portuguese for All program, PFA, inserted in the National Plan for Implementation of the Global Pact on Migration, which aims to strengthen the social cohesion, promoting greater social and labour integration of migrants through the mastery and fluency of the Portuguese language. And its novelty is the teaching of PLA in Qualifica centres, professional training and recognition and validation of competencies. We should have why don't we do a version of that? Let's talk to them and maybe get a version of that. We could do one a week online. I'd be well up for that. We were looking at how we can make these Portuguese language courses for foreigners more effective. That is, that almost 100% of students could pass this course and be able to speak Portuguese. Excellent objective and goal there. In this sense, It was also decided to open to Qualifica centres, and the objective is that when immigrants have courses at Qualifica centres, they can learn Portuguese, but they can also have access to other courses taught there to better suit the job market, explained the Secretary of State. More there on the portugalnews.com for that particular story, which was published a couple of days ago, last Friday. Good news, good idea, and we'd be very happy to support that. I'd love to do a weekly online course. It would help me with my own discipline in learning the language. Quick thing to clear up with you. You may have seen a slightly odd video of me. Where is everyone this morning? Not many comments at all. Are you all a bit sort of tired this morning and can barely reach your hands and fingers to the keyboard after maybe a little bit too much Vinha Verde around the barbecue this weekend? Be lovely to hear from you if you are watching. I know a few of you are. So how are you this morning? Impress us with your Portuguese. Yeah, I sent us a weird kind of video. It was a live stream from Luso this weekend. You may have seen bottles of Luso water around the country, one of Portugal's legendary water sources, going back way into the mists of time and history. We went there and I found the most beautiful picnic spot above the town, just before you get into the town, which I imagine the locals use quite a lot. And it was delightful. And I thought I'd share it with you. You have a beautiful view of the valley and you have plane trees shielding a delightful picnic area. I thought, I know this is a great place for me because, you know, over the last couple of weeks, I sent you a video from Tamar, did a video from Coimbra. I thought, okay, Luso. And then it looked like some sort of cut short murder mystery. So sorry if that caused anyone any alarm, but I was just trying to share the beauty of Luso with you, which I will do now. It's a quite amazing place. There is a triangle of sparish towns, I suppose we call them in the UK, Luso, Coria, and Valdemo, which does sound like Valdemort, but it's Valdemo. And these are water towns, historical water towns with their termas, health-giving waters. They provide a beautiful triangle here in this northern central Portugal, and well worth a visit. If you go to Luso, of course, you're only a stone's throw from Busaco Palace, which is absolutely beautiful as well. So just adding that to your list of things to do while you're here in Portugal. Gary's here. Thanks, Gary. That was your opening screen. Let me just show everyone a quick blast of that again. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at this. I took it away. Hold on, let me just find that. I took it away so it wasn't a distraction. This problem is I can't talk to you anymore when that's shared on the screen. So thank you so much for that, Gary. Do send in your pictures, your early morning pictures of Portugal, especially the ones that make you think this is what we came here for. Look at that view, absolutely beautiful, which of course is what Gary's looks like there. Another correspondent on the starter screens, the community pictures, is Pete. Pete over there in Castanheira de Pera. We're just all lying back listening to your dulcet tones. Okay, fair enough, Pete. Thank you. I loved your video when you were out and about on the water. Maybe we should show that. We should premiere that on the Good Morning Portugal. But go to see, is that in the public domain, Pete? Beautiful little video. Pete makes some great videos. He is, of course, the unofficial ambassador of Castanheira de Pera and representing that part of the country really well with his boating video. Superb. Bon dia from Prakash Sharma. Good morning to you, Prakash. How are you today? Thanks for joining us. And bon dia from a very uncomfortable south of England. Very uncomfortable. Oh, I see 35 degrees in Blighty at the moment. Good morning to you, Paul. Dan Brazier. Oh, hi, Dan. Bon dia, listening, but not commenting for the reason you just said. Barbecue and many beers. There are a lot of people this morning that are just listening, barely. Just... listening to me rabbit on. Right, we are going to treat you now to a chat with Henry and Nina, who are touring the country. Hello, folks. How are you? Good morning.
Hello. Morning.
How are you? Hola, bon dia.
Yeah.
Bon dia.
Yep, says Henry.
We also had wine last night.
Okay.
With us as well. It's decided to start shouting about water now.
Absolutely fine, because we will find out what it's like to tour Portugal with a fairly small... How old is your boy?
He's 2.5, yeah.
2.5. How has that been in the hot Portuguese weather, touring around in a car and staying at various Airbnbs, which I think you've been doing?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's been really good, isn't it?
Yeah,
really
it's
good.
been fine.
He has his
got
moments.
food.
Yeah.
He's fine.
And I suspect he's had a really warm welcome from the Portuguese people. Very family-oriented society we have here.
Yeah,
it's
indeed.
lovely.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. So tell us about your tour so far. Well, first things first, are you enjoying being here in Portugal?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Simple
amazing.
answer.
We
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
just
already.
chilled.
Warm weather. What's not to like?
Yeah, people are lovely, and all the places that we've been to, they're all very different because we're touring around, but it's all really beautiful. The landscape's amazing. Yeah.
The wine's cheap.
Yeah, the wine is fantastic.
I think that's probably quite a good strapline for the Portuguese tourist board. What's not to like? Really. You arrived into Faro a few days ago, I think. What was that like? Obviously, this is a really weird time to be traveling to and from countries across Europe. What was your experience of arriving in Faro?
Yeah,
It was really good. It was strange being on a quiet plane. There's maybe 30 people on the plane, I think. A lot of empty seats.
Yeah.
A lot of mask wearing, mask shaming. Going on. If you're not wearing one. But yeah, no, and it was really quiet in the airport, but again, really friendly. The heat kind of hits you when you get off the plane as well, doesn't it?
That's a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then we got our hire car, didn't we? And set off for a little hour journey to the west. I can't even remember the name of the place now. It's past Albufeira, and we stayed in a little orangery Airbnb with a Swedish couple who own it. Yeah. And that was lovely. Really relaxing. And then we're in Tamar today. We've been here for 2 days. Lovely as well. Obviously, a completely different experience to being in the kind of middle of nowhere. We walked up to the castle yesterday, and we're coming to see you today, Carl, aren't we?
We have been. When we stayed, we've just been asking people what it's been like because I'm fascinated as to. We just thought it's a really good opportunity to travel. We wanted to go on holiday this year, and then we weren't going to, and then. In the UK, I don't know if some of your UK listeners are getting the same impression, but it's almost like the UK government wants everyone to stay in the UK on holiday by the media message that they're putting out. Don't spend your money in the UK and go to Devon, but don't go to Devon, but go to Devon. The prices were really cheap. So we just thought we're just going to go. And if we have to self-isolate, when we get back, then we have to self-isolate. But
well, we actually looked at the statistics as well, and Portugal has not got it as bad as the UK for a start. No. So you're probably safer in Portugal. It's less densely populated, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little dirty trick by the government. But
we've been
Scurrilous.
Yeah. How have their bookings gone? So the first place that we stayed in is like got an orangery, and it's like they're quite self-sufficient little farmhouse type place away from the main route, and they're fully booked for the entire summer. Not as many UK people come in, but they're still fully booked. Here they're saying, so in Tamar where we are, we've just been asking the restaurants and stuff because you can just walk in really easily and get food, which is really unusual, they're saying. But they've still got a lot of visitors, but not many UK people, they're saying. At the moment.
No,
so
I don't think I've heard anybody else English talking, from the UK.
How lovely for you.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been good. Sorry, I'm just trying to...
So you had your experience of the Algarve, and you've come up to Tamar and seen the convent there, and enjoyed historical Tamar.
Yeah.
And it's a nice drive as well, isn't it, to do? I think you're unusual in a way because a lot of people just fly into Lisbon and leave via Porto, or just come to the Algarve and stay there. Would you recommend the touring as you've done, picking up a hire car, which I imagine was good value, a good thing to do, even with kids?
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't describe it as good value, only because it cost more to hire a car for a week than it did to fly here and back. So
quite unusual.
They tend to add bits on. Yeah. So we arrived after 8 o'clock, and I'd already paid for that charge on the internet. And then he said, it's after 8 o'clock, so you've got to pay an extra €40. I was trying to explain that I've already paid it, but they don't give you a detailed receipt of what you paid for, just the total. So I just gave in and just gave the money. It was easier. But no, they're perfectly nice guys, and I would imagine they're not earning as much money as they have been in a normal season. So
well, that's a great attitude to take. Thank you. You're obviously serious about contributing to the Portuguese economy, which absolutely has been hammered, obviously, by this. Nina, I interrupted you. You were going to say something there.
No, I just was thinking, going back to what you were saying earlier about learning the language. I've been to Portugal a couple of times before and I really like it, but I have learned Spanish. So it's really difficult to pick this language up and not get confused in your mind what you're supposed to be speaking. So I would recommend probably learning some Portuguese before you come on holiday.
I feel super ignorant because I didn't learn anything before I came. Just because we've been so busy with reopening our business and stuff in the UK after the coronavirus. And I haven't even learned the basics. So I feel super ignorant. And I will make sure that I know enough to get by for next time when we come back, definitely.
We've got a teenager as well.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so Nisha's with us as well. She's 15. She downloaded some language drops thing, and she's learnt more than us in a couple of days. She can kind of converse for us, and that's fine. So we're just leaving her to it. But
Excellent. I was going to ask you. Oh yeah, Henry, I was going to ask you if you've ever been to France.
Yes, as a child.
As a child, yeah. The interesting thing for me is if you come to Portugal and you don't speak much of the language, you tend not to be made to feel uncomfortable. There's not a big problem or a big sort of embarrassment or shame about that. And fair play to you. I mean, you feel a bit embarrassed that you haven't picked it up. In France, I think it's a different matter. If you haven't made an effort, it becomes quickly apparent that is not approved of. I think the Portuguese are a lot more easygoing about you not picking up their language. And the main thing is, I'm sure by the time you go, even only after a few days here, you will have picked some up. And we tend to learn what we need, don't we? So you'll definitely know what I imagine. Could I have a couple of beers, please? And thank you. Yeah. And British people like to know how to say sorry, of course. So I'll teach you that when I see you a bit later on. Where are you headed today? Which part of Portugal are you going to today?
I told you the name earlier. Well, near Coimbra, yeah. Okay. Up near you.
I was trying to get you to say it. Padrago Grande.
That's it, yeah. See? Padrago Grande.
Padrago Grande. Have you got any questions about the area? Because a lot of the people who tune in are Central Portugal people. I mean, you guys are interested in possibly moving to Portugal?
Yeah. So that is the kind of key to this trip, is that we wanted to see as much of Portugal as we can with a view to moving over here.
Yeah.
We're actually going to view a property today in that place that you just said that I can't pronounce.
Okay.
That place. The sat nav will take me there, so it's fine. So I mean, I think the only thing we're a little worried about is we're not going to beat Brexit to get over here.
Yeah.
So kind of the visa situation post Brexit is something I can't really find much information on. And probably, I would imagine people that already are here don't know much about it either, because they haven't had to do that. But it may be similar to somebody coming from America, I would imagine, or somewhere outside the EU.
Yeah.
We need to kind of look into that, because I don't think we're
going to... You make a very good point. That's the thought is that the worst case scenario for British people after Brexit is that you will be like anyone else coming from outside the EU, as you say. It might be that there has always been a special relationship until recently, when I think the British government kind of embarrassed the relationship that was there between the UK and Portugal by imposing or not giving a clear corridor to and from each country. But I would question with you, why do you think you might be too late?
Because it's December, isn't it?
Yes, December.
December, I think.
I just don't think we're going to be able to get everything in order, because we've got 4 kids that live at home with us. 2 of them are with their mum in Birmingham, so still in the UK.
Yeah.
But we have all the stuff we have to get in order and our business and everything. I just don't know if we're going to be able to do it on that timescale. We'd love to be able to, but we shall see, because it's getting back over here again. If we do find somewhere over the next couple of days that we like, it's kind of getting back over to see it again, and that'll probably be October at the earliest.
I think we operate on kind of like, if it's a stress-free kind of order of things, then it's kind of meant to be, and let's go with the flow.
Yeah.
So
to be fair, I'm not stressing about it too much. It's just something that was on my mind. Well, if we don't make the deadline, as it were, but again, I'm sure it'll be fine, and there is still processes in place.
There is
non-members.
I'm signed up to this group that are saying that you can still join as a European. After Brexit, for UK people, you can join. I've forgotten what it's called now. if you want to stay within Europe, you can kind of opt in to be European.
Yeah.
But they're putting pressure on the government to do it, but the government aren't doing it. But now we've moved to, you've got to send videos of why you feel that you're European, and that's going to be sent so that it's just so people that want to opt in can do that. And I think we should have the option, but we'll see what they say.
Sorry, you there's a new star of the show, I'm afraid.
Do you want to get in?
Hey, it's for everyone watching. Gary Austin likes what you got there, a rice cracker or something?
Yeah,
cracker.
We'll have that. Thank you, Cassius. Yeah, I think we need. I think there's going to be a lot of talking between Brits and Portugal and certainly agencies that will help out in Portugal. I think it does feel like there's a sort of cliff edge coming, and I don't want to bore people who aren't Brits, because it's for people I think who aren't involved, who aren't British and are outside that drama, they just think it's like our own little drama and they don't want to hear about it anymore. And you can understand that. But so we will have other conversations, I'm sure, about what happens as we run up to the Brexit in the 31st of December without driving other people away as well. We have a recommendation for you in Pedrógão Grande. Head down to the dam, have a swim in the reservoir, and lunch at the new burger place in the town central gardens. There you go. That's how good the advice is from the community. And that's from Pete. He also says, and obviously stop next door in Castanheira de Pera, which is a wonderful place to live with lots of cheap properties available. Nice one, Pete. His videos are all public viewing, new one out today, the first of a series highlighting the villages of Castanheira de Pera. You might even get to shake hands with the unofficial ambassador, who is Pete there. Bon dia, cloudy day in the north of England from Claire and Steve. I bet you wish you were back here hearing about Faro earlier on. So, Henry, Nina, any other questions about Portugal that occurred to you that the good people here might be able to help you with?
I'd be interested in what the schools are like, or if anybody's moved with their children. Our children range from 15 right down to 2.5. So some in senior school, some in primary school in the UK. But I'd be interested to know what that's been like for people that have moved with children.
That's going to be the biggest issue for us.
Don't feel like you have to answer now.
No,
Absolutely feel like you have to answer now. These people need some advice. So yes, please do that. The other good place, obviously, to go and get the leisurely answers is expatsportugal.com. Great forum there. I mean, you can get all sorts of advice all over social media. What I like about the Expats Portugal forum is it's a little bit more ordered. You ask a question, you can go back to it. You ask a question in a Facebook group, and within an hour or so, it can be a little bit hard to find. And an argument's broken out about something else entirely unrelated on the same thread. Sometimes happens. Remember that the Portuguese welcome immigrants from all over the world. Yes, thanks, Gary. Yes, it's absolutely true. And we did a webinar, a Portugal calling webinar the other night, which was about the D7 visa. That was with Expats Portugal and AI Emigrant, a consultancy. So I think, all people coming from all over the world and people very welcome here. And there's all sorts of help available, which is fantastic. Henry, did you have another question there?
No, I was just going to say, as highlighted by the Swedish couple that we stayed with down in Barrett.
So you've got a truly international experience, not just experiencing Portugal, really.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good.
And we're loving it.
Okay, so before you go, standout things. Obviously, good value wine. We don't like to say cheap wine. We like to say good value and excellent wine. Anything else stand out for you at the moment? The toll roads stood out a bit, didn't they? With their eye-watering fees.
I zoomed past in the green lane, and then just saw 23 euros flash up on a screen as I went past. I was a little bit surprised, but again, they're nice roads, so they've got to pay for them somehow, haven't they?
They absolutely have to. Yeah, and I just want to point out that you haven't won 23 euros. That's what you've got. Wouldn't that be great if you could sometimes win driving on those? They should do a lottery on them, and you can see what you've won as well as what you've been charged. Fantastic. And Gary says he can't see the attitude of the Portuguese changing because of Brexit. I entirely agree, Gary. Portuguese are amazing in terms of how welcoming and hospitable they are as a people here. I know 3 English couples, says Pete, whose kids are at school here in Castellano de Pera. They all love it. That's good news. And Pedro Grande has a technical college for further education and trade. So that's nice to know as well. Yeah. So anything else apart from the wine and the tolls? Do you enjoy the food here? Oh, the weather, of course. Yeah.
The food, yes, we are vegans though. So it's been a little bit of a challenge trying to find vegan food and ask for vegan food when you don't speak any of the language as well. So we have ended up eating a little bit of cheese in the last days. No meat, that's where we draw the line. But yeah, there has been some cheese.
I'm sorry to laugh. Maybe what you might want to do is order the Francesina, which is a very traditional Portuguese, normally a meat feast. They do it as a vegan option. And the reason why I think that's such a challenge is because it's got like 27 different kinds of sausage in it, in a sandwich of like, mother's pride type bread in a stack. Then it has a fried egg on top and cheese and a red wine or beer sauce. The sort of thing probably sort of previously to your vegan days you'd have absolutely loved.
Yes.
But like a really amazing challenge, to make as a vegan dish. So the Francesina. But we were talking about vegetarianism and veganism in Portugal, and I just made this sort of immediate assumption that it was difficult. And actually, you will have to scratch the surface a little bit. But I think typically, again, Portuguese people in restaurants will want to help you, and it is just sort of, I guess, learning a little bit more vocabulary.
Yes.
Or having pictures on your phone or whatever. But it's really not impossible. I was hearing some really good reports of what you can get in Portugal if you just shop around a little bit, which you have to do anyway as a vegan. Of course, we are delighted to be taking you to De Terra tonight in Aveiro, which is a superb vegetarian and vegan restaurant. So shout out to De Terras all over the country. I believe there are several of them around Portugal. So that's a great place to go for vegetarians and vegans. And we would love to be back there. However, as our motorhome is French, we have to wait till they return next week before we know if they will do the repairs. Frustrating. Yeah, it's August. It's French. Nothing much is going to happen there. I would have thought for the next week or so. I think the French people just like to take August off. It's similarly, actually, there is a sense of that in Portugal as well, which is actually really nice. So, well, as we say in Portugal, bon voyage, which is have a good journey today, have a good voyage, enjoy your adventures around the place, and do stay in touch with us and ask the Good Morning Portugal community, Expats Portugal communities, any questions you've got. Very friendly and happy bunch here. And of course, I forgot to mention this. Thanks, Jeff, again. The Happy Cow app is really good for finding. You got that?
Yes, I didn't even think of using it.
International.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, there's some help from Jeff there. So yeah, the Happy Cow app. I keep forgetting that. And so do the Germans. It looks like a lot of Europeans like to take August off. So you're here in the most leisurely month. Although, it doesn't get much more intense than it currently is. And that's why we love it so much. So have a great day, you two.
Yeah,
We'll
cool.
see you later on.
Look forward to seeing you later on. Yeah, take care. Bye for now. And see you for some nice vegetarian food later on.
Yay.
Ciao, ciao. There are many ways of saying goodbye in Portuguese. You can say "Te logo," "Até a próxima," "Até amanhã," for seeing you tomorrow. "Te já," "Ciao, ciao," "Abraços," "Beijinhos." But I guess a simple farewell, old chum, will do for now. Right, bye for now. See you.
Bye.
Ciao. Henry and Nina there, who are touring and loving it by the sound of it. Any more intel you've got about coming over here with kids? The Munson family are homeschoolers, so that's how we've dealt with that particular challenge. But I've done a little bit of teaching in the local school close to me, and really enjoyed it. I think the Portuguese students are fantastic. Well, certainly the ones I met. Highly articulate and respectful. I feared that sort of stereotype of having a class that was out of control and wouldn't listen to what I had to say. They listened intently, and even gave me, I think, as I may have said to you before, I think I was gifted honey and wine by the end of the sessions that I delivered. So my experience Portuguese schooling really good over here. But Henry and Nina would like to know they've got kids ranging from 15 to 2.5. Any more intel you've got on that, gratefully received by them. And they're looking for a property. You might want to run some property past them as well, prospecting in Pedrógão Grande today. Okay, so let's leave it there for today. So lovely to have your company. I feel like we've had a slightly leisurely easing into the week. Of course, like we're saying, it's holiday time. It is August in Portugal. People kicking back and taking it a bit easier than they might ordinarily do. So we're in that spirit. We're taking it easy this morning, and it is Monday, and just taking it nice and steady. We'll be back tomorrow. Gary sent me a really interesting link. Looking forward to talking to some folks who produce microgreens. Now, I have an idea what that is, and I guess that fits nicely with our ongoing conversation about vegetarian and vegan food in Portugal. But I'm hoping to have them on as guests, and anyone who is starting a business, an enterprise here in Portugal. Two reasons. I mean, let's find out what they do, but let's find out how easy or not it is to start a business over here in Portugal. And of course, that idea that we had to do a kind of dragon's den. I guess it would be like the cockerel's coop here, wouldn't it? Where you can pitch an idea, and people who have experience of living here will give you a bit of market research and their opinions on it. Also, don't forget, Good Evening Portugal is well and truly underway now. We have an evening show from 10 each night, after you may have had a couple of glasses of local vinho or a Sagres or a Superboc, and we talk about relevant issues to do with living in Portugal. But I guess, world affairs are going to come into that as well. And we prove that we can have respectful, relevant, and of course, legal conversations and explore things rather than just, as I said earlier on in this show today, people falling out all over the place on social media. So hard to have a conversation in that context. And in these polar times, it's pretty tricky. We are reversing that trend after 10 o'clock on a weekday evening. Again, leisurely, easygoing, and listening to each other and seeing where we can go with some of the biggest issues of our time. And my goodness, aren't there some big issues around at the moment that we can get our teeth into? This man, Will Thompson, will be back tomorrow evening on the Good Evening Portugal show, where we're doing a deep dive at the pandemic politics, taking a deeper look, scratching the surface, and going a bit further than, should you, shouldn't you, do you, don't you? And that will come into it, but we're looking into the situation behind the pandemic and its politics with Will Thompson, who was way ahead of the curve. We talked to Will before, who knew what state and what conditions the world would be in right now. A few months ago, Will had an idea, and we talked, and we did our best to offer a good service to people going in to all of this and flattening the curve. And Will still has a very unusual and deep grasp of the situation, and he'll be here for Thompson Tuesdays in the evening after 10, so that'll be tomorrow evening. Grateful for these constant cloudy mornings, says Will. Not sure it's normal, but helps with the water and work situation. Yeah, it gives you a few more hours to get some work done, doesn't it, before the blistering sun comes out. It's literally cloudy and grey every morning with sunny afternoons there. He says, yeah, I guess that suits in a way, but you may be saying, well, that it's a bit unusual as well. Maybe climate change disruption is something we'll talk about on the Good Evening Portugal late night show as well. So thanks for your company this morning. Really appreciate it. Have a great week, and we will see you tomorrow morning from 9 o'clock. Até já. Ciao, ciao. Abraços, beijinhos. Take care. Bye for now.